Hi, my name is Elizabeth Alley. I was born in Memphis and mostly raised here. And now I'm an artist in Memphis showing my work at the Dixon. This is my work right here. It's called Tiny Outfits, and it's made up of a series of paintings that are 3 inches by 5 inches. And this project started as a way to get myself out of a rut. I had been in a little bit of an art rut due to changing jobs and having really more freedom to think about my work. And I didn't know what to do with all that freedom, so I had to give myself an assignment. And this is what I did. It coincided with a frustration over my wardrobe because it was winter, and it was like this winter, never ending. And I was a little frustrated with my winter clothes, I was frustrated with my art making, and I was thinking about combining the two to do one of those thing-a-day things where you take a picture every day or you make a drawing every day. And I knew I wouldn't be able to do it every day, but I decided that I would take pictures of myself and then paint them tiny and just see what happened. Well, it worked because I just kept going and kept going. Started making more work, and it started to influence the way that I was dressing, and I incorporated a lot of details in my jewelry and the clothes that I was picking out. Mostly the jewelry, though. A lot of it has personal meaning to me. Either it was given to me as a gift or I bought it while traveling. And so it was really work to get those to be interesting. To get the single figure to be as interesting to me as multiple figures normally would be. So again, that was kind of the focus on the detail, and paid very close attention to the composition of the work, which is always important to me in my work, but even more so in these, to make sure that they worked as images, and I think they do. I'm really proud of them. I've been making art since I was really little, really since I could hold a pencil is what I like to say. It's something that runs in my family. My father was an artist, his father and his father were also artists. They were more on the vein of illustrators and cartoonists. So while I do like to sketch, I don't consider myself an illustrator by any means, but I became a painter really in college at the University of Memphis, being taught by Dick Knowles and Steve Langdon. They taught me how to paint and to love painting, which I do. I guess I've called myself an artist since I got out of school. When I went to U of M, I eventually thrived there, to go out. But I began to thrive as a painter, and then I got out of school and I didn't have the structure anymore of having to make work for assignments. So after a few months of just sitting around complaining about not being an artist, I decided to give myself an assignment and made a certain size of paintings by a certain date, and it worked. I've been working steadily ever since then.
Hello, my name is Carl E. Moore. I'm an artist here in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm also one of the artists in the present tense show at the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. I'm standing next to my piece, Prey and Predator, which was part of a body of work I did a few years ago within this 10-year span that pretty much acted as a metaphor for, in society today when we look at how things operate and we look at how people live and just a system that everything works in. Prey and Predator metaphors the idea that there's always a winner and a loser per se, and that's not always bad, but the idea that the bird is preying on the worm in the piece is symbolic of a lot of work I do which deal with social issues. But the twist in the painting when I developed it after doing a lot of sketches is who's really the prey and who's really the predator, which is an example of how we live in society. Those that we perceive as the predator may end up also being the prey of another situation. There's always someone or some situation that's up on the previous one. The idea with the bird pursuing the worm delves into the idea that the bird is not aware that the worm is poisonous. So you get this, who's the prey and who's the predator, who's the survivor and who's not the survivor. My work in general, I like to explore different social ideas about how we live, how people live, how they interact with each other, and how we deal with social ideologies that we deal with on a daily basis, and somewhat an idea of survival. So I'm very proud to be in this show, and this is one of my works that really, it was part of a body of smaller works that I started exploring a few years ago, coming down from a very large painting to something a little bit more confined, where your imagery had to be a little bit more direct. I've been in Memphis. I moved to Memphis 30 years ago to go to college, and after attending the Memphis College of Arts, where I received a bachelor's and a master's degree, I had no intention of staying, but I ended up staying here. I'm originally from Canton, Mississippi, and I'm from a family who my brother and two sisters all at some point in time delved into art, and that's where I guess my idea came from, of exploring it. And once I got into it, I realized it was something I really loved doing. And when I approached my parents, I guess the irony of it is, at a very young age, when I approached my parents about doing this, I got a shock, because they were so supportive in the idea of just saying, okay, what do we need to do to help you to pursue art? So I had a very positive background in my exposure to art and my research of art, which led me to further, my career and into that direction. I work professionally as a designer, but in our industry, in our society today, the line between artist and designer is very thin, and most artists, even street artists, became gallery artists while doing their design work. So thank you for coming to the show, and thank you for enjoying my piece.